I never noticed your plate before.
But it's more like Seinfeld, those places and places. You got, I'll just maybe show you a little bit about the house. Okay. If anyone here,
No chance of parole. We've seen arrests.
Oh God, it is a crime to cover up this pompadour.
Mob figures.
Oh man.
I don't know anybody in this joint. What is this? Diners, drive-ins, and dives?
What's the
I
situation?
thought I was in Made Men Barber Shop.
I don't know how I feel about being in a barbershop with this man after watching the Irishman movie. I want to get out of here. Let's head to your place to do the interview.
Well, I got cousin Joe here. He's got a license to kill. So don't try anything funny.
At least in part.
Hannibal TV. It is the king of Connecticut, and I want to say we're going to be doing something a little bit different today than your normal viewing. Ironically, what started out as a secret society on the island where my own grandparents and great-grandparents immigrated from has become an integral part of American society. Everything from television shows, Wise Guy, The Sopranos, to the most iconic American movies, Godfather, Goodfellas, to American history, the Kennedy assassination. No aspect of American popular culture is complete without a discussion of the life. And I am here with the man who has led that life, the author of the book, The Life, and his manager and gorgeous wife, Kelly, who we'll talk to later, will grab the book to show us, Mr. Larry Moss.
Well, that was an incredible opening.
Thank you.
I don't even know where to go from that. I'm humbled. I'm honored that you, Matthew, and Hannibal invited me on. It's the first time I get to introduce my manager. She's been managing me since she met me. Even though it's really starting to blow up now and she's getting a lot of clients of her own. We'll talk about that. But yeah, let me just show you the book. There it is. As Matthew said, The Life.
Check it out.
Well, we'll tell you where to get it eventually.
We're going to give you a little appetizer, a little teaser about some of the stories.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Salute.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, babe. There's yours.
Salute. Cheers. So, Larry, we need to introduce you to this audience. This is a combat sports audience.
Right.
And I want to start out just by asking you a little bit about your upbringing, your childhood.
Well, as a youth, I was with a very normal family. My dad was a fireman. My mom worked in a bank. I went to Catholic school. I was in all sports. About 12 years old, my father put me in a karate class with him. Shortly after, maybe a year or so later, I went to another karate school. It was more of a martial arts academy, run by Louis Neglia, who's a fourth-time champ. I spent several years with him. When I turned 18 and got my license, it was still a little too demanding for me. I wanted my freedom, so I sort of went on my own and joined the boxing club on Avenue. There was an old wise guy named Angelo Defendis. He passed away now. He taught the kids boxing, and I stood there for a couple of years. So from 12 to 20, I was involved in kickboxing, boxing. Then I met guys down here in Florida, Donnie Hare, may rest in peace, Don the Dragon Wilson, and I started getting introduced to the MMA part of it. I never did that. It was always waist up, traditional kickboxing. So yeah, I've been doing it. I'm 60 now. I stopped probably 8 years ago, actually sparring and fighting, and I couldn't lead my students to the level I wanted to lead them to anymore, so I had to pass it on to younger guys. It's a young man's sport, as you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're in incredible shape, too.
Well, thank you so
Great
much.
shape.
Thank you.
And
Thank
you actually have a gym
Yes.
that we're going to go to later. But you talked about when you were around 18.
Yeah.
And you were attending John Jay.
Yeah, I was in John Jay College, criminal justice. with my friends, we were going like to the Hamptons for weekends and coming down here for spring break and other weeks. And that's where I like to go back to the karate. That was in academy. I couldn't miss classes. But now I had to make a decision. I made a little bit of a dumb decision, and I decided to, move on a little bit. But yeah, I was working at the same time in a supermarket, and I was delivering groceries to houses and stocking shelves. And something happened along the way that changed my life.
Yeah, and you met a woman, a beautiful older woman.
Yes, yeah. And it's funny, when we say that, when I was 18 and she was 31, 32, I remember even my friends saying, she's an old lady. Now, I mean, for a 32-year-old, right? So it's funny, it's all relative. But yeah, at the time she was much older, and she certainly taught me the ropes. There were true feelings. We were together almost 10 years. But unfortunately, she was one of the Grim Reaper's wives. That was a heavyweight gangster in New York named Greg Scarpa, who pretty much everybody knows now. And it was unique is not even bizarre. I don't even know the word, but he took a liking to me, brought me closer to him, ultimately allowed this to go on.
Yeah. Can you talk about that? Like, let's talk about when he found out. Because here you got the Grim Reaper, Greg Scarpa. Yeah. When he found out, what did you think was going to happen?
Here's the thing. That's a little bit of a mystery, because early on, he didn't know. I know for a fact he didn't know. We were having our liaisons. He was away a lot. She told me travels, whatever. After about a year, we were getting a little crazy. We were taking chances, and I started knowing a little bit more about him, this mysterious guy. So she wanted me to meet him. So then when I met him, I knew this guy was a gangster.
Yeah.
I said, he's no doctor, he's no traveling salesman. And I started getting paranoid. So for about another 6 months or so, we were doing this and it was getting dangerous. And I knew now I was doing the wrong thing. I mean, I knew I could be killed for this. So he didn't catch us in the act or anything. So I don't know exactly when they discussed it. And again, he was 20 years older than her.
Oh yeah.
He had 3 other wives.
Yeah.
2 that I knew of. I just found out about another one. So he had 2 other families.
You were keeping her happy.
That or making his life easier. Yeah. There's a lot of, I don't really know, but somewhere along the way she told him, and eventually he brought it up to me and had, confronted me, so to speak, but it wasn't a confrontation. He brought it up, he eased into it, and the way he did it, he was very charismatic, man. He knew, and I just remember saying I would never ever admit it, but when he said it to me, I said, Greg, you're far from an idiot, and I respect you, and really only an idiot wouldn't see what was going on. We're together all the time. So he laughed, and from there on, we had an arrangement and a friendship that flourished and grew and grew and grew. I was told I was like a son to him. But, with all that, ultimately at the end, I'm fast forwarding, turns out he was working for the government for 30 years.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of in between if we want to go through the whole book. But, we want people to buy the book. We're not, and there's so many amazing stories. Yeah. But a couple kind of takeaways from what you said there. Do you see some parallels maybe between Greg Scarpa and between the famous Irish mobster there in Boston? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They both had a government official. One, mine was an FBI agent. He beat his case, so it's alleged. But whatever it is, the judge on that case made it clear that he wasn't convinced he was innocent. Anyway, so he had an agent, an FBI agent. And the unfortunate thing is, it got exposed pretty much by me early on. And this agent was allowed to get on the stand and lie. Yeah. So it goes further. How much further, who knows?
Unbelievable.
But it's, and Whitey Bulger's brother was a politician.
Yeah.
So how can, and you can't tell me this guy went on the lam, Whitey, 15 or 20 years, and they couldn't catch him. They catch
Yeah,
everybody.
exactly.
America's Most Wanted, you name it. The people with cameras looking for people nowadays. So I don't think they wanted to catch Whitey.
You know.
And I'm going to say one last thing.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I believe there's a lot more of that going on.
Oh, yeah.
A lot more. There's guys that
Oh,
even
yeah.
are still out there in the streets of Brooklyn that know the way to survive.
Yeah.
We were naive.
Yeah, and in Greg Scarpa's
Yeah.
case,
Mhm.
I mean, he was able to do what he wanted to do, and
Yeah.
then look the other way, which is what you're saying.
Yeah.
There. I mean, it's
And that's why he never rose to a level. I mean, that man could have been boss, could have been
Yeah.
anything he wanted. But every time he was offered a promotion, and I remember him telling me, he says, I'm happy right where I am. And he would tell the boss, thank you very much, I'm happy where I am. Because as a soldier, he's not giving orders. Okay? So if an order is given down to him and he lets them know about it, he's doing his job for both sides, you know. And then I found out later on, the family knew about it. The boss and his son knew. And now I'm saying, why would they allow it? But earning, the man was a monster earner.
Yeah.
Plus, they had